The fluorescent lights buzzed overhead, casting a sterile glow across the open-plan office of Vantage Analytics. Rows of glass-walled cubicles stretched like a maze, each desk cluttered with monitors flickering graphs and data streams. The air carried the sharp tang of espresso from the break room and the faint hum of printers churning out reports. I adjusted my blazer, feeling the fabric pull slightly at my shoulders, a reminder of the late nights spent earning my place here. My name's Clara, 32, a junior analyst with a knack for spotting patterns others miss. This place, with its relentless pace and whispered deals, was my proving ground. I'd been at Vantage for 3 years, clawing my way up from an intern's desk. My cubicle sat near the window, offering a sliver of the Chicago skyline, steel towers glinting under a grey November sky. Every morning, I'd trace those buildings with my eyes, imagining my name on a corner office door. Work wasn't just a job, it was my shot at redemption. 5 years ago, I'd tanked a startup pitch, losing investors and my confidence. Vantage was my second chance, a place to prove I wasn't a failure. Each dataset I cracked felt like a step toward that goal. My desk held a chipped ceramic mug, a gift from my sister, its jagged edge catching my thumb as I sipped lukewarm coffee. That crack mirrored something in me, fractured trust, maybe, from years of being overlooked. I shook the thought away, booting up my laptop. The screen glowed with my latest project, a predictive model for client retention, a multi-million-dollar strategy to boost Vantage's bottom line. I'd spent months refining it, poring over numbers until my eyes burned. This was my ticket to a senior analyst role, maybe more. I could feel it. Around me, the office pulsed. Analysts typed furiously, their keyboards clacking like a discordant symphony. In the distance, glass doors swung open as executives strode toward the boardroom. I caught snippets of their chatter, mergers, quarterly targets, golf retreats. My boss, Derek Hargrove, stood out among them. Mid-40s, with a tailored suit and a smile that never reached his eyes, he had a way of commanding attention. Derek was the director of analytics, my direct supervisor, and the gatekeeper to my promotion. He'd praised my work before, but always with a caveat: solid, Clara, but let's polish it. I glanced at my mug again, its crack seeming wider in the light. A flicker of unease stirred. Yesterday, I'd overheard Derek on a call, his voice low: "It's a game changer, my team's best work." He hadn't mentioned me, but I brushed it off. My model wasn't due for review until next week. Still, the memory lingered, like a shadow creeping across my ambition. I pushed it down, focusing on my screen. Numbers didn't lie, they'd carry me forward. Across the aisle, Priya, a fellow analyst, leaned over her cubicle wall. "Clara, you look like you're solving world hunger." Her dark hair was pulled into a messy bun, and her eyes sparkled with warmth. Priya, 29, had joined Vantage a year after me. We'd bonded over late-night data crunches and shared eye rolls at Derek's endless team synergy speeches. She wasn't after my job. Her focus was on supply chain analytics, not client retention. Her support felt genuine, like a lifeline in this cutthroat place. "More like saving Vantage's bottom line," I replied, grinning. I tilted my screen toward her, showing a graph with a sharp upward curve. "This model's going to blow them away." Priya whistled, leaning closer. "Damn, Clara. That's senior analyst material. Derek better not sleep on this." Her words were encouraging, but they stirred that flicker of doubt again. I forced a laugh, gesturing to her desk. "What about you? Still wrestling with those shipping forecasts?" She groaned, tossing a pen in mock defeat. "Don't remind me." Our banter was interrupted by a clatter from the break room. Marcus, the IT specialist, emerged, balancing a stack of cables and a coffee cup. Early 30s, with a lanky frame and a perpetual smirk, Marcus was the guy who kept our systems running. He'd fixed my laptop crash last month, staying late to recover my files without a hint of resentment. His motive seemed simple: he liked solving problems, not chasing promotions. "Morning, ladies," he called, weaving through cubicles. "Clara, your server's purring again. No more gremlins." "Thanks, Marcus," I said, raising my mug. "You're a lifesaver." He shrugged, his smirk widening. "Just don't tell Derek I'm the real MVP." His tone was light, but it landed oddly, like he knew something I didn't. He moved on, humming to himself, leaving me staring at my screen. The office lights flickered briefly, a faint buzz cutting through the noise. I rubbed my eyes, chalking it up to fatigue. Back at my desk, I opened my project folder, double-checking my model's calculations. Everything was airtight: projections, assumptions, even the formatting. I'd poured my soul into this, driven by that old failure. Losing that startup pitch had gutted me. I'd spent years rebuilding my confidence, determined to prove I belonged here. This model was more than code, it was my worth, quantified. I saved the file, labeling it Clara_model_v4, and emailed a draft to Derek for feedback. "Looking forward to your thoughts," I wrote, hitting send. The day wore on, filled with meetings and data pools. During a team huddle, Derek stood at the whiteboard, marker in hand, outlining Q4 goals. His voice was smooth, confident. "We need a big win to close the year. Something innovative." His eyes skimmed the room, pausing on me for a half-second. I straightened, expecting a nod to my work. Instead, he moved on, gesturing to Priya. "Let's get those forecasts tightened up." I sank back, a knot forming in my chest. Later, Priya caught me by the coffee machine. "You okay? You seemed off in there." Her concern was real, no agenda behind it. I hesitated, then admitted, "Derek's acting weird. I sent him my model, but he hasn't responded." She frowned, stirring her coffee. "He's been distracted. I saw him hold up with the VP yesterday, all hush-hush." Her words hit like a cold draft. I gripped my mug, its crack biting my palm. "Probably just budget talks," I said, but the unease grew. That afternoon, I noticed something odd. My project folder, synced to the team drive, had a new access log. Someone had opened Clara_model_v4 at 2:17 a.m. I checked the user ID, D. Hargrove. Derek. My pulse quickened. Why was he reviewing it in the middle of the night? I told myself it was diligence, but the lights flickered again, casting long shadows across my desk. I opened the file, scanning for changes. Nothing was altered, but a presentation slide deck named _pitch had been added to the drive, timestamped 3:04 a.m. I didn't have access to view it. I leaned back, heart pounding. The office felt different now, its glass walls closing in. Marcus passed by, noticing my expression. "You good, Clara?" he asked, pausing. I forced a smile. "Just a long day." He studied me, then said, "If you need to check server logs or anything, let me know. I see everything." His offer was casual, but it stuck with me. Did he know something about Derek's late-night work? I filed it away, my mind racing. By 5 p.m., the office was emptying out. I stayed late, digging through old emails for any hint of Derek's plans. I found one from last week, sent to the VP. "I've got something big for the gala. Trust me, it's a home run." No details, but the timing felt too close to my model's draft. The gala, a glitzy event for clients and executives, was in 2 weeks. If Derek was planning to present my work, he'd do it there. The thought made my stomach churn. I shut my laptop, staring at my mug. Its crack seemed to pulse in the dim light, a symbol of the trust I'd placed in this place, trust now fraying. The office was quiet, save for the hum of a distant vacuum. I thought of my startup failure, the shame of standing in that empty boardroom. I'd sworn I'd never feel that small again. This model was my way out, my proof. If Derek was taking it, he was taking more than credit, he was stealing my redemption. The lights flickered one last time as I grabbed my coat. Shadows danced across the glass, mirroring the doubts creeping into my mind. Ambition had brought me here, but it came with a cost. I wasn't sure what Derek was planning, but I'd find out. I had to. My future, my worth, depended on it. The office lights flickered as I sat at my desk, the cracked mug cold in my hands. It was past 7 p.m., and Vantage Analytics was a ghost town, save for the distant hum of a janitor's cart. My laptop screen glowed with the access log I'd found. D. Hargrove, 2:17 a.m., opening my retention model. The timestamp burned into me, a betrayal taking shape. I thought of my startup pitch 5 years ago, my voice shaking, investors walking out. That failure had haunted me, pushing me to Vantage to prove I was more. Now, Derek's shadow loomed over that dream. I leaned back, the chair creaking under me. My journey to Vantage hadn't been easy. After the startup crashed, I'd spent a year in a dead-end admin job, filing papers while my ambition festered. Nights were spent studying analytics, my apartment littered with textbooks and empty coffee cups. The smell of burnt toast clung to those memories, my cheap dinners as I clawed my way back. Vantage hired me as an intern at 29, a chance to rebuild. I worked 80-hour weeks, earning my junior analyst role. Each promotion felt like a brick in a new foundation, but Derek's late-night access threatened to tear it down. My retention model, a multi-million-dollar strategy, was my masterpiece. I'd built it over 4 months, analyzing client churn rates until my eyes blurred. The math was elegant, a 12% retention boost, backed by 18 months of data. I'd presented an early draft to Derek 3 weeks ago, his nod curt but approving. "Good start, Clara," he'd said, scribbling notes. Now, that memory felt tainted. His vague email about a big gala pitch, the locked slide deck named _pitch, it all pointed to one thing. He was stealing my work. I opened my email, rereading Derek's silence on my latest draft. My stomach twisted, a mix of anger and dread. This wasn't just about credit. It was personal. My startup failure had left me doubting my worth, whispering I'd never be enough. This model was my answer to that voice, proof I could deliver. If Derek took it, he'd erase that redemption, leaving me back in that empty boardroom, invisible. I gripped the mug, its crack biting my palm, a reminder of trust fraying. I needed answers. I started digging, pulling up the team drive's metadata. The _pitch deck had been edited again at 4:32 a.m., still locked. I cross-referenced Derek's calendar. A meeting with the VP, Cassandra Lee, was scheduled tomorrow, marked gala prep. My pulse raced. The gala, 2 weeks away, was Vantage's showcase. Clients, executives, press. If Derek pitched my model there, claiming it as his, he'd secure a promotion, maybe VP himself. I'd be left with nothing. I stood, pacing the cubicle. The office's glass walls reflected my silhouette, distorted like my trust in Derek. The lights buzzed, flickering again, casting shadows that seemed to whisper doubt. I thought of Priya's comment about Derek's hush-hush VP meeting. She'd seen something. Maybe she knew more. I texted her, "You free? Need to talk." Her reply came fast, "At the diner on 5th. Come." Priya's warmth, her lack of agenda, made her safe. She wasn't chasing my role, she'd be honest. The diner smelled of grease and syrup, its neon sign buzzing outside. Priya sat in a booth, nursing a milkshake, her laptop open. "You look like hell," she said, sliding a menu over. I slid in, voice low. "Derek's screwing me over." I explained the access log, the slide deck, the gala prep. Her eyes widened, then narrowed. "That's low, even for him. I saw him with Cassandra yesterday, showing her charts on his tablet. He kept saying my vision sounded like your retention model." My chest tightened. "He's going to pitch it at the gala, isn't he?" Priya nodded, stirring her shake. "Probably. He's been gunning for VP since Q1. Your model's his ticket." She paused, then added, "Check his email syncs. If he's sloppy, you might find something. I won't snitch." Her offer was genuine, no strings, she wanted me to fight. I thanked her, my mind already racing. Priya's role wasn't to compete, it was to ground me, and I needed that now. Back home, my apartment was dark, the city's glow seeping through my blinds. I booted up my laptop, heart pounding. Marcus's words echoed, "I see everything." He'd offered to check server logs. I messaged him on Slack, "Can you pull email sync logs?" Discreetly. His reply was instant, "On it. Give me 24 hours." Marcus didn't care about office politics. He liked cracking puzzles. If anyone could dig up dirt, it was him. His help felt like a lifeline, no ulterior motive, just a guy who hated seeing systems abused. While waiting, I dove deeper. I logged into Vantage's analytics portal, using my junior-level access to pull file histories. Derek's slide deck had been shared with Cassandra at 5:15 a.m. today, titled Retention Strategy_DH. I couldn't open it, but the metadata showed 42 slides, 18 with charts, identical to my model structure. My breath caught. This was no coincidence. I found an email Derek sent to a junior VP, timestamped last night. My team's retention model is ready. Gala's the stage. My team. Not my name. The betrayal hit like a punch. My screen blurred, tears of rage stinging my eyes. I saw myself at 27, pitching my startup, my voice cracking as investors left. That shame flooded back, now laced with Derek's deceit. He wasn't just taking credit, he was stealing my chance to prove I belonged. My personal stake, that need to redeem my past, felt crushed. I slammed my laptop shut, the mug on my desk wobbling. Its crack glinted, a symbol of my fractured trust in Vantage, in Derek, in this world I'd fought to join. Sleep didn't come. I lay awake, the city's hum outside my window. By morning, Marcus messaged, logs pulled. Derek synced your model to his personal drive, 2:47 a.m., then emailed a draft deck to Cassandra. Check your inbox. I opened his attachment, a log showing Derek downloading Clara_model_v4 to a private server, then uploading it to his pitch deck. My blood boiled. This was proof, but it wasn't enough. I needed something public, undeniable, to expose him. I met Marcus in Vantage's IT room, a cluttered space smelling of dust and circuits. He leaned against a server rack, smirking. Your boss is sloppy. Left digital fingerprints everywhere. He showed me the sync logs on his tablet, highlighting Derek's access times. I can't hack his deck, but I can pull more logs if you need. His help was pure. Marcus thrived on fixing messes, not making them. Thanks, I said, my voice tight. This stays between us. He nodded, no questions asked. Back at my cubicle, I pieced it together. Derek had taken my model, repackaged it as his, and was prepping for the gala. The emotional weight crushed me, years of proving myself, now stolen. But anger sharpened my focus. I couldn't confront him yet, he'd deny it, and HR would back him, not me. I needed a plan, something smarter. The gala was my stage, too. If I could expose him there, in front of clients and executives, his lie would collapse. But how? I thought of Priya's advice. Check his syncs. Marcus's logs gave me a start, but I needed more, something to show my model's origin. I remembered a quirk in my code, a hidden comment in the model script, Clara v4_091524, my initials and the date I'd finalized it. If Derek's deck kept that code, it'd prove the model was mine. I'd need access to his presentation, maybe during the gala's tech setup. It was risky, but it felt right. My resolve hardened. I'd gather more evidence, emails, logs, anything tying Derek to my work. I'd use the gala's spotlight to expose him, not just to reclaim my model but to prove I deserved better. The lights flickered overhead, their buzz softer now, like a signal of clarity. Ambition's shadows had betrayed me, but they'd also taught me to fight. I grabbed my mug, its cracker badge of survival. This wasn't just about credit, it was redemption. I'd make Derek pay, not with screams but with strategy. The gala was 2 weeks away. I had work to do. The Vantage Analytics office felt different now, its glass walls no longer a maze but a battlefield. The cracked mug sat on my desk, its jagged edge catching the morning light. 2 weeks until the gala, and my plan was taking shape. Expose Derek's theft in front of Vantage's elite, using my model's hidden code comment, Clara v4_091524, to prove it was mine. The lights overhead seemed steadier, their buzz a quiet pulse matching my resolve. I'd spent years rebuilding after my startup failure, and Derek wasn't stealing that redemption. This was my fight, and I'd win it with precision. I started with evidence. After Marcus shared the server logs showing Derek syncing my model to his personal drive, I needed more, something tying his gala pitch directly to my work. I logged into the analytics portal, my junior-level access limiting me, but I found a shared drive folder labeled Gala Materials. It held a draft agenda. Derek's presentation, Retention Revolution, was slotted for 8:45 p.m., prime time. The description read, "A multi-million-dollar strategy by D. Hargrove." My stomach churned. That was my model, my retention strategy. I couldn't access his slides, but I had a lead. The gala's tech setup, handled by Marcus's team, would use a shared server for presentations. If I could get into that server during setup, I might find Derek's deck and check for my code comment. I messaged Marcus, "Need access to Gala tech setup. Can you get me in?" His reply was quick, "Risky, but I'm game. Setup's the day before, 3 p.m. meet me there." Marcus's motive was clear. He loved outsmarting sloppy systems, not climbing ladders. His help was my first step. Next, I needed allies. Priya, who tipped me off about Derek's VP meeting, was my anchor. I met her at the diner again, its greasy air a stark contrast to Vantage's polish. Over fries, I laid out my plan: infiltrate the tech setup, find the code comment, and expose Derek mid-pitch. Priya's eyes lit up. "That's bold, Clara. If you pull this off, he's done." She offered to cover for me during setup, claiming I was on a client call if anyone asked. "I've got your back," she said. "No agenda, just loyalty." Her support felt like armor. Back at the office, I dug deeper. I pulled email threads, finding one from Derek to Cassandra, the VP, dated 3 days ago. Slides are locked in. Retention models a slam dunk. Attached was a preview slide, locked, but its thumbnail showed a familiar graph, my model's 12% retention curve. My blood boiled. I saved the email, building my case. I also found a memo Derek sent to the team, claiming my vision for Q4. The lie was brazen, but it gave me an idea. If I could plant doubt among colleagues, they'd back me when I exposed him. I approached the team subtly. During a coffee break, I chatted with 2 analysts, Lila and Sam, about my model's progress. "Been refining it for months," I said casually. "Should save millions." Lila raised an eyebrow. "Didn't Derek mention something like that for the gala?" I shrugged, feigning ignorance. Maybe he's inspired. The seed was planted. I didn't need them to fight for me, just to question Derek's story. The office lights flickered, but I felt a surge of control, like I was rewiring the game. The tech setup day arrived. The gala venue, a sleek Chicago ballroom, smelled of Polish and fresh flowers. Marcus met me at the tech booth, his lanky frame hunched over a laptop. "Server's live," he whispered, handing me a temporary admin login. "You've got 20 minutes before the crew's back." I nodded, heart racing, and logged in. The server held Derek's deck, Retention Revolution _H. I opened it, scanning the code embedded in slide 18's data source. There it was, Clara V4_091524. My breath caught. Proof. I copied the slide to a USB, along with the server's access log showing Derek's upload. Marcus watched, smirking. His toast. His role wasn't for glory, he'd already earned a nod from the tech lead for gala prep, a small win organic to his work. I thanked him, slipping the USB into my pocket. The ballroom's chandeliers cast steady light, no flickers, mirroring my growing certainty. But I wasn't done. Exposing Derek mid-pitch required timing, and I needed the room on my side. I enlisted Priya for the gala itself. Over lunch, she agreed to mingle with clients pre-pitch, dropping hints about my model's origins. "I'll say I saw your drafts months ago," she said. Nothing overt, just enough to stir curiosity. Her reward, if any, would come later. Maybe a nod from executives for her loyalty, but she didn't ask for it. Her support was pure, rooted in our bond. I also prepared a backup, a one-page summary of my model, timestamped September 15, 2024, with my code comment. If Derek denied my claim, I'd distribute it. Gala night arrived. The ballroom glittered, crystal glasses clinking under golden light. I wore a tailored black dress, the USB in my clutch. Derek stood by the stage, schmoozing with Cassandra. He looked untouchable, his suit crisp, his smile wide. I mingled, heart pounding, as Priya worked the crowd. I overheard her with a client. Clara's been crunching retention data forever. Her model's a beast. The client nodded, intrigued. My seeds were sprouting. At 8:40 p.m., Derek took the stage. The screen lit up with his title slide, Retention Revolution by Derek Hargrove. My graph appeared, my 12% curve. He spoke smoothly, "This model, my vision, saves Vantage millions." Murmurs of approval rippled. I gripped my clutch, waiting. Slide 18 loaded, and I stood, voice steady. "That's my model, Derek. Check the code comment. Clara V4_091524. The room froze. Derek's smile faltered. "Clara, this isn't the time," he said, voice tight. I held up my USB. "I have proof. Server logs, emails, my original drafts." I handed the USB to Marcus, who was at the tech booth. He projected the code comment and logs, my name undeniable. Gasps spread. Cassandra stood, eyes narrowing at Derek. "Explain this," she said. Derek stammered, "A misunderstanding, my team's work." But Lila, in the crowd, spoke up. "Clara mentioned that model weeks ago." The room turned, doubt shifting to Derek. He countered, voice rising, "I refined it. Clara's just an analyst." But the logs showed his late-night syncs, my code untouched. Cassandra cut him off. "We'll review this tomorrow." The crowd buzzed, clients whispering. Derek's face reddened, his authority cracking. I felt a rush, not just revenge, but power. I'd turned his stage into mine. Priya caught my eye, nodding. Marcus gave a subtle thumbs up. The light stayed steady, no shadows now. By 9:15 p.m., the gala shifted. Cassandra pulled me aside. "Your model's impressive, Clara. We'll audit Derek's claims. Prepare a full report." I nodded, handing her my summary. "The turning point hit," Cassandra added. "If this checks out, you're pitching to the board next week. Derek's role, we'll see." Her tone hinted at opportunity. I'd exposed him, and a bigger role was in my sights. The ballroom's light felt warm, my ambition no longer shadowed but blazing. The ballroom's chandeliers glowed steadily, their light washing over the gala's aftermath. My heart still raced from exposing Derek on stage, my USB's evidence, server logs, my code comment Clara V4_091524, projected for all to see. The crowd's murmurs lingered, a mix of shock and intrigue, as Cassandra's words echoed. "Prepare a report. You're pitching to the board." Derek's face, flushed with denial, was a fading image as I clutched my summary, its time-stamped proof my shield. The cracked mug back at my desk felt distant, its fracture now a symbol of trust I'd rebuilt through strategy. The next morning, Vantage Analytics buzzed with tension. Whispers followed me through the glass-walled office, colleagues stealing glances. I wore a crisp blazer, my resolve as sharp as the espresso scent in the air. Cassandra had emailed at 6:47 a.m. "Audit begins today. Your report's due by 5 p.m. Board pitch is Monday 10 a.m. I sat at my cubicle, the Chicago skyline glinting beyond, and opened my laptop. The lights overhead were steady, no flickers, mirroring the clarity I felt. This was my moment to execute, to claim a bigger role and redeem my past. I crafted the report with precision, detailing my model's development. 4 months, 1,200 hours, 18 datasets yielding a 12% retention boost and millions in savings. I included emails from September, my drafts to Derek, and Marcus's server logs showing his late-night syncs. My code comment, Clara V4_091524, was highlighted, undeniable proof of ownership. I attached the gala's USB files, cross-referencing Derek's Retention Revolution deck. The report ran 12 pages, each word a brick in my case. I sent it to Cassandra at 4:32 p.m., heart pounding. Priya stopped by, her smile wide. "You're killing it, Clara. The whole team's talking." She'd heard Derek was called to HR, his office door closed all morning. Her support from our diner talks fueled me. "Thanks for having my back," I said. She shrugged. "Genuine. You earned this." Priya's reward was subtle. Cassandra had praised her forecasts in a team email, a nod earned through her own work, not my fight. It fit her, no competition, just loyalty. Marcus texted, "Derek's laptop's locked down. It's auditing his drive." His smirk was practically audible. His role in the tech setup had earned him a shout-out from the gala's organizers, a small win for his puzzle-solving passion. "You're a genius," I replied. His help, like Priya's, was pure, no agenda, just a shared disdain for Derek's deceit. Their support anchored me as I prepared for the board pitch, my chance to seal Derek's fate and secure the director role. Monday arrived, crisp and cold. The boardroom smelled of leather and coffee, its long table flanked by 12 executives. Cassandra sat at the head, her gaze steady. I stood, projector ready, my slides a refined version of my model, graphs sharp, numbers crisp. "My retention strategy," I began, voice clear, "delivers millions in savings through a 12% churn reduction." I walked them through the math, citing 18 months of data, my code comment flashing on screen. Questions came, probing, technical, but I answered with ease, my years of grinding analytics shining through. Cassandra leaned forward. "Your report was thorough, Clara. The audit confirmed Derek's misrepresentation." Her pause was deliberate. "He claimed oversight, but the logs don't lie." The room tensed. I held my breath as she continued, "Effective immediately, Derek's role as director is vacant. Clara, your model's approved for rollout. We're naming you interim director, pending performance." My chest swelled. Interim director, Derek's position, now mine. The board nodded, one executive muttering, "Impressive." I'd done it. The triumph hit like a wave. I saw my startup failure, that empty boardroom at 27, dissolve. My personal stake, proving my worth, was fulfilled, not just in title but in impact. My model would reshape Vantage, saving millions. I thanked the board, exiting to applause. Outside, the skyline sparkled, no longer a distant dream but my reality. Priya hugged me in the hall, whispering, "You're the boss now." Marcus, passing by, grinned. "Told you he was toast." Their joy was real, tied to our shared victory. Derek's consequences unfolded swiftly. Our audit, fueled by my report, found a pattern. He'd claimed credit for 2 other analysts' work in 2023, though less blatantly. His emails, dug up by Marcus's logs, showed he'd pitched my model as his to 3 clients pre-gala. Cassandra, furious, stripped his title that afternoon. By 3 p.m., Derek was escorted out, his tailored suit rumpled, his office boxed up. Colleagues watched, silent. He shot me a glare, but I met it calmly. "You underestimated me," I said, voice low. He had no reply. His exit was just, no cartoonish downfall, just a man undone by his own lies. Vantage's rumor mill churned. Derek landed a mid-level role at a smaller firm, a 40% pay cut, his reputation tarnished. It wasn't my doing. It was the truth catching up. My revenge wasn't loud, it was surgical, proving I was better. The cracked mug, still on my desk, felt whole in spirit, its flaw a reminder of the trust I'd forged anew. As interim director, I moved into Derek's old office, its glass walls now mine. My first act was greenlighting my model's rollout, projecting $5.2 million in savings by Q3. I led my first team meeting, outlining goals with numbers. 15% growth, 10 new clients. The team listened, Lila and Sam nodding, their doubt in Derek now trust in me. My startup shame was gone, replaced by a legacy I'd built here. Ambition's shadows, doubt, betrayal, had shaped me, but I'd stepped into the light. Reflecting that night, my apartment quiet, I traced the skyline through my window. The gala's chaos, Derek's fall, my rise, it cost me sleepless nights, trust in Vantage's fairness. But it gave me more, confidence, a title, a voice. My redemption wasn't just the director role. It was proving I could outshine Derek, fair and square. The shadows of ambition, once daunting, were now my strength, teaching me to fight smarter, not harder. I'd won, not just for me, but for every analyst who'd been overlooked. I set the mug on my desk, its crack a badge of survival. The office lights, steady now, lit my path forward. I was Clara, 32, interim director, and this was only the beginning. 8 months later, the Vantage Analytics office hummed with a new rhythm. My corner office, once Derek's, overlooked Chicago's skyline. The steel towers now partners in my view, not distant dreams. The glass walls gleamed, reflecting monitors displaying my retention model's results. A 14% churn reduction, $5.8 million saved in Q2 alone. My cracked mug sat on a polished shelf, its jagged edge no longer a wound but a relic of the fight that brought me here. The lights overhead shone steady, their glow a quiet affirmation. I'd claimed my redemption, but ambition's complexities still whispered lessons. As permanent director, I'd made the role my own. The board confirmed my title 3 months ago, citing my model's 62% adoption across client portfolios. I'd hired 4 analysts, boosting team output by 18%, and secured a $12 million contract with a retail giant, all in Q1. Meetings now felt alive. Lila and Sam, once skeptical, pitched ideas freely, their trust earned through my transparency. I thought of my startup failure, that hollow boardroom at 27. It was a ghost now, banished by numbers and impact. My personal stake, proving my worth, was no longer a question but a fact. Priya thrived, too. Her supply chain forecasts, praised by Cassandra, landed her a lead analyst role. She stopped by my office weekly, our diner chats now replaced by strategy sessions over coffee. Her support during the gala hadn't sought reward, but Vantage noticed her loyalty, a quiet win natural to her work. Marcus, ever the puzzle solver, was promoted to IT supervisor after streamlining the gala's tech systems. He'd pop in, smirking, to fix a glitch or share a quip. Their roles in my fight, Priya's cover, Marcus's logs, weren't for glory but for justice, and their gains felt right, woven into our fight. Derek's fate lingered in my mind, a shadow I couldn't ignore. After his escort from Vantage, he'd surfaced at a mid-tier firm, managing a small analytics team for $90,000 less than his director salary. A former colleague, Sam, mentioned Derek at a conference. His pitch fumbled, his confidence dimmed. Vantage's audit had spread whispers. Derek Hargrove, the credit stealer. His consequences weren't my design but the truth's weight, fitting to his choices. He'd underestimated me, and the industry knew it. I felt no glee, only closure. His fall cleared my path. Sitting at my desk, I traced the mug's crack, its texture grounding me. The gala, 8 months back, was a crucible. Exposing Derek mid-pitch, my code comment blazing on screen, had shifted everything. I saw Cassandra's nod, the board's applause, my interim title becoming permanent. But the cost was real, sleepless nights, trust in Vantage's fairness fractured until I rebuilt it. Ambition's challenges taught me vigilance. Betrayal lurks where praise shines brightest. Yet they also forged my strength, turning doubt into strategy, shame into triumph. I leaned back, the city's hum soft through my window. My redemption wasn't just the director role, it was surpassing Derek. My model reshaped Vantage, my leadership lifted the team, and my worth, once questioned, was undeniable. The complexities of ambition, uncertainty, deceit, had tested me, but I'd emerged not just victorious but wiser. Every late night, every data set, every fight since that startup failure led here. I wasn't climbing anymore. I was building, my legacy etched in numbers and trust. The mug gleamed under my lamp, its crack a story of survival. I smiled, thinking of others out there, fighting their own workplace battles. Have you faced a betrayal that pushed you to prove yourself? Share your story below. We've all navigated these challenges. Like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more tales of triumph and resilience. Let's keep shining a light on the truth, together.